Welcome to Oath&Ink Academy. Florida is one of the most active notary markets in the country, thanks to its real estate industry and growing population, which makes this a great state to build a notary business. This lesson walks you through Florida's eligibility rules, the application steps, and where your authority as a notary begins and ends. By the end, you'll know exactly what it takes to get commissioned. Let's get started. Let's break this down. Becoming a Florida notary involves 4 steps: meeting the state's eligibility requirements, completing a required education course, submitting your bonded application, and understanding the legal boundary around your role. What does this actually mean in real situations? It means the process is straightforward, but skipping a step, like the education course or the surety bond, can delay your commission by weeks. We'll walk through each requirement in order. Here's what to know about eligibility. You must be at least 18 years old, a legal resident of Florida, and able to read, write, and understand English. One thing many beginners overlook is the felony rule. A past conviction requires your civil rights restored before you can be commissioned. Permanent resident aliens can apply too, but must file a recorded declaration of domicile with their application. Confirm your eligibility before you invest in any course or supplies. Now let's look at education. First-time applicants must complete a 3-hour state-approved notary course covering Florida law, including electronic notarizations and general procedures. This becomes important because the course also introduces Chapter 117 of the Florida statutes, which governs your duties, limitations, and authority as a notary. Why is this step often misunderstood? Because renewing notaries don't need to repeat it. Florida requires no continuing education, only this course for first-timers. Another important point: Florida requires a 4-year, $7,500 surety bond before your commission is issued. You'll apply through a state-authorized bonding agency, submitting your signed oath of office, proof of your education course, and the state filing fee. This is where many people become confused, because the bond protects the public from your errors, not you personally. Budget for your bond stamp and any optional journal, since total starting costs typically run around $100 to $200. Here's where it can get confusing. Once commissioned, a Florida notary can verify identity, witness signatures, and administer oaths, but cannot give legal advice, draft documents, or explain what a document means. That's the unauthorized practice of law. What could happen if this is skipped? Advising a client, even with good intentions, can expose you to civil penalties and put your commission at risk. When someone needs legal guidance, direct them to a licensed Florida attorney instead. One thing many beginners overlook is starting the bonding agency application before finishing their education course. Other common mistakes include leaving out a past criminal charge on the application, forgetting to bring proper identification to notarizations, and not budgeting time for the governor's office to review the file. This is where many people become confused, because approval isn't automatic. Be thorough, be honest, and expect the process to take a few weeks from submission. This becomes important because many Florida notaries add remote online notarization to reach more clients. Remote online notarization lets you notarize for signers anywhere, as long as you remain physically in Florida during the session. It requires a separate 2-hour training course, a higher $25,000 bond, matching errors and omissions coverage, and an approved technology platform. What does this actually mean in real situations? It means remote online notarization can meaningfully expand your client base once your traditional commission is active. Now let's look at staying compliant after you're commissioned. Keep your seal, bond, and commission information current, and maintain a journal even though Florida doesn't require one, since it protects you if a notarization is ever questioned. Why is this step often misunderstood? Because notaries assume the work ends at commissioning. In reality, your 4-year term requires you to reapply before it expires, typically starting the renewal process about 6 months ahead. Let's recap. Becoming a Florida notary means meeting the eligibility requirements, completing your 3-hour education course, securing your bond, and submitting your application to a bonding agency. Another important point: know where the UPL boundary sits the moment you're commissioned. What does this actually mean in real situations? It means you can start serving your community confidently, within the rules that protect both you and your clients. Thank you for joining this lesson, and congratulations on taking this step. Subscribe to Oath&Ink Academy for more professional education.